guess let's get started. Tonight we wanted to
Rumblefish.
Welcome to the Friends of Zeus podcast. Tonight we wanted to talk about this recent phenomenon of the governors in I want to say Texas and Florida. I think DeSantis is doing it too. Maybe a couple other states where they're
Arizona, Ducey.
They're busing migrants to dim controlled states, and it's causing, excuse my language, it's causing quite a kerfluffle. And I think it's ingenious. Don't get me wrong. I have a differing opinion on it. I'm not 100. I think it, like I said, I think it's brilliant, but I'm not sure I like it all that much. But we can discuss this as we get into it further. So I guess we should start with the states that are doing it and what their rationale is for doing this. Anybody got some insight from the articles you've read regarding this? I'm sure Mike does.
I'm just chilling, dude. I'm gonna wait.
Tom?
I think Desiree has a rundown, don't you?
Yeah, I got a little bit of a rundown here.
All right, here's the rundown with Desiree.
The rundown with Desiree coming up in about 2 minutes when I can get my
Max made this for us.
Oh man, he's been playing that?
I know.
That's awesome. No, it's a great game, man. Hollow Knight, that's what we're talking
Hollow
about.
Knight.
Even I played Hollow Knight, and I don't play games at all.
Yeah.
Hashtag Hollow Knight, use us for advertising.
Yeah.
Anybody.
I don't know what Hollow Knight is.
It's a game.
Okay.
So wait, we're doing this.
Go ahead, Jack.
No, are we
Go
doing?
ahead, Jack.
Go ahead, Desiree, if you're ready.
No, go ahead, Jack. Go ahead, Jack.
No, I was just asking.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live tonight?
We're doing it live, Jack. This is how the sausage gets made. Yes.
Yeah, no,
live?
We're live on
Doing it
Rumble
live.
right now.
Live
live
on
on
Living Color?
Rumble. Well, hello to everybody on Rumble. I
Yeah,
guess.
we didn't know we were live. We were not
Rumbling.
told that information. We were misled.
Yeah.
Don't
we
freak
do-
out by the
did
red
we-
light in front of you. Just
No,
just talk as normal. If I see something going on in the chat room, I'll update you.
This is going out to all 7 continents and throughout the whole solar system.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think it's going that far. I mean,
No.
not
yes,
stretch.
For Andromeda, we've got issues with them, but
Yeah.
everybody else.
Motherfuckers.
Well, this is our first live Rumble. I'm excited about it.
I'm
So rumble
super-
on.
All right, well, let's
Desiree?
cause some rumbles. Okay, so the event that started everyone talking about all of this busing and flying to various places from the border
Mhm.
was DeSantis flying. He flew 2 planes full of 50 Venezuelan immigrants to Martha's Vineyard.
It's a nice place.
Because, that is a nice place. I've always wanted to. Actually, I've never wanted to go. It's a nice place, and so everyone should go. But he did. What are you laughing at me for?
Nothing. It's a nice place.
We're laughing with
It's
you,
a
not
nice
at.
place. Okay. So yeah. So if you don't know, Martha's Vineyard is like a really, it's a richie. It's like the Hamptons or what are some other places like that, guys?
Tahoe,
Harlem.
Not Harlem. That's not included.
Palo Alto.
Anyway, it's for rich white people, and Martha's Vineyard happen to be a lot of liberals. So rich white liberals, and they're also in a sanctuary state. So they got these people together and they flew them on these planes, and they landed in Martha's Vineyard. It was like, oh my gosh, we can't handle these people. They said that this is a humanitarian crisis, and they kidnapped these people to send them to Martha's Vineyard. And this is, we don't have the infrastructure to handle these immigrants. And they were lured here on false pretenses that were, peddled by DeSantis and all the things. So human trafficking is another thing they labeled it, the people of Martha's Vineyard. So they get there, they give them some shelter in a church, they give them some food, give them some clothes. For less than 48 hours later, they ship them off to a military base in Cape Cod. And I guess that's kind of where we're at with all that. I don't really know the fate of everyone that's in the military base at Cape Cod, what they're going to do with them next, or if I don't know.
It's definitely not the same place. I think I've seen a Chattanooga. I saw somewhere in Georgia.
Okay,
those
but
are
Zeus,
with
the Chattanooga wasn't the end destination for those people. So
Okay.
what has been happening before this, event hit the news was, like you guys saying, Ducey and Governor Abbott, Ducey is the governor of Arizona. They've been sending buses full of migrants to Chicago, Washington, D.C., New York City. And one of the most recent places has been right outside of Kamala Harris's residence in Washington.
I love that.
The Naval Observatory. Yeah. Right down the street.
Yeah.
Does anyone know what happened to the people that got off of that bus?
No, I did see some article today where Biden was saying something along the line. He was trying to make it seem compassionate, but it was basically, we can't sustain this kind of problem, blah, blah, blah. You know what? And all the money is where all these people are being dropped off. They should do something.
Right. So they're just, I think that Martha's Vineyard and maybe this whole state of Massachusetts, I can't say that word, by the way, y'all are better at saying it.
You say it again.
It sounds like Massachusetts when I say it.
Yeah,
So.
that's the way. That's the way we say it.
Yeah, you're not far off.
Oh yeah, say it for me.
No, Massachusetts is probably more accurate.
Massachusetts.
All I know is welcome to Worcester. Have another one, you lush. Anyway.
So they declared a state of emergency. For the
Crisis.
people that flew in.
Yeah.
A state of emergency. Oh my gosh, it's
50
emergency. They're gonna crumble our infrastructure. Oh my gosh, what do you do? So that's kind of like the overall event. I guess the precipitating event was all the things that are happening at the border. It's not even anymore like a illegal immigration, keep illegals out kind of deal, but there's a lot of laws that kind of change, and just ways that things are being handled have changed. And there's a huge influx, and I mean huge influx of people crossing the border. And 2 million people, I think was the latest number I've heard this year. We've hit 2 million people.
Oh,
Well, that's per year. So it's 4 million for the past 2 years.
Right.
I heard even north of that, but.
And that's just what they're estimating, what they know about.
It's so many. And this is all falling on towns like Del Rio, Laredo, Eagle Falls, Uvalde, and other towns I can't think of, Yuma. So I can't think of something on the border of California and Mexico right now.
Isn't it interesting they threw Uvalde into that mix? Like that became a city that we'd never heard of before, but suddenly that'll get people.
Well, Uvalde's it's a border town. It's
a border town, like El Paso.
Fair enough, but we never heard of it before, and now suddenly I'm sure.
Yeah, but they've been dealing with this crisis in Uvalde and places down on the border. I mean, for
years. Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, and it's just increased, tenfold almost. It's just so many people coming in, and what do you do with all these people that are coming in? You got to sustain them somehow, and that's the reason they're shipping them to other places, Chicago, New York, Washington D.C. Because if you think about a household in, let's just say, Del Rio, their average household income is like $46,000 a year. And there's not a lot of available jobs. There's not a lot of available housing. Why wouldn't you move them to places where there is available jobs and is available housing, and bigger areas that are not inundated with just people and people and people and people.
Well, not to mention the fact that the places where they're being shipped by these, few governors are declared sanctuary cities. I mean, the governments of those places have said, give us your huddled masses, and we're not going to enforce immigration law or cooperate with ICE in any way.
Right. So that was a big thing.
So it seems like a good place for these people. Hey, if you want them, here you go.
Take them.
So so if I may, this is where I have issue, and I'm sure you guys are going to beat me up for this, but I'm going to hold pretty firm on this. What I don't like is people being used as pawns in a political game. And this one, I mean, this one does fall on these Republican governors. And I know you guys are going to disagree. I just don't feel, I feel like this could have been done a different way. I feel like these poor people are just going to get bounced around. And you know, if you're honest, that they were like, well, you know, we can send you back or you can do this. There's something, I'm sure they didn't openly intimidate, but I'm sure that the options that were made available to them were probably not fantastic.
I'm not sure of that, Zeus.
I'm not sure of it, but I'm pretty confident of it.
In fact, I doubt it.
Why?
Well, one, I mean, there's already news coming out.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you this. Why would these people say, okay, because you know they probably have people near where they were coming in, or if they did.
No, not always.
No, we don't know that.
A lot of these people that are coming in are come from very far away places: Guatemala, Venezuela.
One would think.
Panama.
One would think.
No,
that
Zeus
from a certain place that the
Honduras.
population of those people is going to be kind of funneled out. You're going to have larger populations of those people, and it grows in scale as you get further out.
Zeus, most of these people are going where the infrastructure can handle them, and also they're going to these places that are declared sanctuary cities because they don't want to get kicked out.
But
so they have family members that are already here in California, in New York, in Chicago, I'm sure. I mean, so they're going
it's very hard to believe that they weren't given some bill of goods that either made it overly enticing to go
I'm
there.
sure. No, I agree with that.
Or that they were given less of a choice than we would be satisfied with. I don't think there's a gray area in the middle where, and it's just, I don't like people being used as pawns.
Okay, let me address that. Talk about using people as pawns. Who were the first ones to use them as pawns? The Democrats, I think, are purposely opening the border, not enforcing the border security, letting these people flood in hopes that if they're black or brown people, that they're going to side with the Democrats and they'll have more voters. I think they're using them as pawns in that sense. They're the first ones to establish them as being pawns. The Republicans are just trying to that was created by the Democrats to start with.
It is brilliant, and it will most likely work.
It will.
But I just don't like it. And I'm going to use an adage that I just came up with, and that is that two wrongs don't make a right.
No, two wrongs don't make a right. But if you were an immigrant and you could choose between Del Rio, or El Paso and Martha's Vineyard, what you gonna fucking choose?
Okay, but if you and I were to go into South America and they said you could go to Bogota or Mexico City, we don't know what the fuck's going on there. They're just
we couldn't just
South America.
But we couldn't just move to Colombia without a visa, and we couldn't do that. Zeus, they would consider us illegal aliens if we tried to do that.
And it's no fun.
They would probably deport us.
But you talk about enticing them with money and promises. I mean, that's the whole point of them coming here. They're enticed to come here to start with.
I agree. So that they're being used as pawns on both sides. I just don't think.
Look,
what would you have them do?
No, listen. Here,
it's a matter of scale, Zeus.
I'm sure Mike's going to come up with is that they don't care in these other cities because they're never going to reach them, and now they've reached them. I get that.
No, they do get there.
They do get to the other cities. Look, here's the thing, man. I mean, zoom way out. What is being perpetrated on the American people right now is a full-scale invasion sponsored by the Biden administration, who is completely just letting anyone walk in, right? It's not good. The people down at the border have been screaming for attention. Our president and our vice president have yet to go visit the border. The Democrat Party media isn't going down there, because if they go down there and turn on a camera, they're going to have to start answering some questions, and nobody wants to do that. And the Biden administration has been flying people into the interior of the country for a
Yes.
year and a half in the middle of the night, unmarked flights going to municipal airports in the dark, letting people
Yeah,
go with
but
no warning to those communities
they're-
that these
they're just-
people are coming.
They're just transporting them from one detention facility to the other. Is
Okay,
what
but my
they
point is,
say.
do you think,
Whether
to
they
Zeus's
make it or
point,
not, I don't know.
are they telling people exactly where they're going? They're not telling these cities where they're going. And if you look
Right.
at where people are going, Arizona is a purple state. Texas is a red turning to purple, and I hate using the colors. This is being done for raw, like we say on every episode, with the Democrat Party, which is a Marxist party. And you guys got to forget about Bill Clinton and all this stuff when you're in college. It's not the same party. They are pressing for power. They are trying to bring in people that they think will vote for them. The ironic part is they may not, because a lot of Hispanic people, their values are more akin to, conservatives than they are to Democrats. But who knows? But my point is, Zeus, the only reason we're talking about this is because DeSantis sent these 2 plane loads or 1 plane load to Martha's Vineyard. This has been going on for over 18 months, and everyone in the media is like this. No one wants to talk about it. You're talking about thousands of migrants dying trying to get here. You're talking about girls being sold into sex trafficking. You're talking about children being used to, people are pretending that they're their kids and they're coming over here. There is coyotes making all kinds of money. Fentanyl coming in. We had over 100,000 deaths of Americans last year due to fentanyl.
Listen, not to
Coming in over the
mention
border.
terrorists that
So,
could slip
not
through.
mentioning the terrorists. So all these people that are up in arms, like in Martha's Vineyard, I'm just I just have zero. I have zero. Whatever, man. It's like, what, they can go pound sand.
No, but I get that.
Vineyard
I'm
can pound
glad
sand.
that they're being made uncomfortable. I'm glad that they're
No,
being
they
made
need to
uncomfortable.
own this, dude. They're the ones that are saying that this is a good idea. Oh, we're a sanctuary city, blah, 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 blah. And now, like Muriel Bowser here in DC, she's a complete hypocrite, like a complete farce. She's like, oh, now it's a crisis. Remember back in the spring of 21 when people were saying, man, there's a crisis on the border, and the Democrat
Yeah, we
Party
did an
media.
episode.
Yeah, the Democrat Party media, along with the Democrat Marxist Party, it's not a crisis. We got to change the verbiage. 50 of these people go to Martha's Vineyard, and they're saying it's a humanitarian crisis. This is bullshit, guys. DeSantis
Bowser.
is a genius. DeSantis
I
is
agree.
mwah. They need to do more of it. They need 100
agree that it's
airplanes
clever.
landing at Martha's Vineyard. They need 100 airplanes landing in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, until people wake up. Look, 5 million people, that's like 50 Baltimores that have come into this country in the last year and a half. The amount of people, where are they going? What schools are they going to? They're going to public schools that are not funded, we're told, not funded properly now. And in the United States, public schools have to take in kids that are here, whether or not they're citizens or not. So instead of having and their English, right? So you need more ESOL teachers, ESOL teachers, and so now instead of your child having 21 kids in their class, they have 31 kids in their class. Here's the deal, man. This is a republic. We're supposed to vote on stuff. Have you, Zeus, Desiree, Tom, Jack? Have you been asked your opinion on this? Have we made a decision as a country that this is no, not at all. This is being shoved down our throats by this Marxist Democrat Party who is trying, and then they virtue signal us, people that are constitutionalists, saying that we're believing in replacement theory, whatever the fuck that is. They're the ones that are believing it. They're the ones pushing it. They're trying to change the electorate. Everything they're doing is trying to take away individual liberties from voters. They're trying to bring in and import voters. Zeus, this is not a subtle thing. They are playing brass knuckle MMA, punching you in the face, and the reaction of well, I don't know, this is dehumanizing. Fuck that, dude. These people are not, they're playing for keeps. DeSantis sees it. And the reason why he's smart is he turned this right on their ear. He put it The emperor has no clothes. They got those people off that island in less than 48 hours, sent them to the joint base in Cape Cod. Those people have they can house 100,000 more people on that island.
Yep.
All those
Yeah,
houses are
according to, I
vacant.
got on Airbnb and there was 243 available houses that had at least 2 bedrooms.
And
So
Martha's
one
Vineyard,
person in each bedroom, there's over 4.
They better not take our
between 4,500
place.
Martha's Vineyard votes 95% for the Democrat Party. So you know what? They can own this, man. They're the ones that are sitting there preaching, yelling down their nose at all of us.
And I'm not.
They
and
can
I'm not
freaking
arguing-
own this.
I'm not
And we're talking
arguing.
50 people.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
Yeah.
not arguing that. I think
There's
it is
people who are
and I think
losing
it
their-
will be. I think it
Anyway.
will be effective.
It
I
better.
don't like people being used as pawns.
Well, then where have everyone been for the last
People-
18 months,
People
Zeus?
that are running away from an awful place. And they're just going
Absolutely.
to another place where they're just being used for a different crime.
And they're
Where do
paying, you know
how
how much
many-
they're, I'm sorry.
How many are being used as pawns? There's like 50 people go to Martha's Vineyard.
Dude,
Is that a
it's
pawn?
not
Go to
just Martha's
wait.
Vineyard.
80
There's
people go to
thousands.
DC. You're talking about a few hundred, just a
No,
few.
it's not a
And
few.
there's 4 million
Have
down.
you looked
bus.
at have you looked at the articles? They're talking, I think I
Yes,
saw
I
one that
looked
said
at all
like
the-
10,000.
It's up to about 10,000
Okay,
overall.
Yeah,
even
dude.
10,000,
That's still
that's
a
a drop in
fraction.
the bucket
Yeah,
compared
but-
to the 4 million that
That have
just
come
came
across.
across
And
the
how
border.
many do you think might be separated from another family member that had to stay there? Come on, man, be realistic,
Yeah,
Mike.
but-
I don't think
No.
anybody, because I think
Well,
their
wait a
family
minute.
member went with them.
How many did Biden fly to different parts of the country over the course of the last?
Because-
Almost half a million.
Good point.
Almost half a
I'm
million.
calling it on both sides.
Because most
It's
of them
not both
actually,
sides, dude.
if you
It's
want to
half-
get real,
Wait,
the
one at a
people that
time.
they're flying by, the people that are being flown by Biden are mostly children that have been held at detention facilities going to the next detention facility or somewhere in the vicinity for their family member. They're unaccompanied minors. So I
Some,
mean, you
think-
don't talk
I
being
think-
separated by from their family, definitely being separated or taken further from their family members.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
how do we know that
I'm
they're
saying
family
in
members?
painting broad strokes. I'm saying it's bad all around. I
This
just
is a-
don't think this is a
It's not a good
so,
look.
so hold on. Here's my argument to you, Mike. The Democrats did it and it's shitty. The Republicans do it and it's fine.
No, they're not doing it. What are you
Yes,
talking
they
about?
are.
Dude, they're playing the media game. DeSantis is playing
They're
chess.
playing the media game with fucking people that can't fucking support
Okay, so
themselves, that are
all these
running
people,
away,
So they
Running
can
away
support
from
themselves in El Paso.
rape,
So wait, so
crime,
Martha's Vineyard
violence.
is like Auschwitz now? Like, so these people came up from Venezuela and like going to Martha's Vineyard is a
It's
fucking
not like we sent them to the
crisis
ghetto
or
of, like,
something? Are you kidding
No, no.
me?
We didn't send them
You
to
think they
Compton.
came here because the grass is greener on the other side, or any grass is?
I don't know
greener?
what- you know why they're
That's
coming
the closest
here.
green grass I can
They're-
get to.
They're coming here because they know the border's open and they're paying tens of thousands of dollars to coyotes and they're being held in horrible conditions. They're being raped, they're being beaten, they're being killed because this administration and this Democrat Marxist party is trying to play fast and loose with the population in this country. And they are creating the issue. They are creating the problem. We did not have this problem 2 years ago.
So
We did not have this problem. Why is
so the
that?
Democrats
Because we had
did
a
it-
secure border and people
Okay, so
could
wait,
come
wait, wait,
in.
wait. Here's my
It
argument.
wasn't anarchy.
Mike, I love you. We're arguing, fine, but it's okay, or it's fucking villainous when the Democrats do it,
No,
but it's puppy dogs and sunshine when the Republicans do it because it's less people and because it's attacking the Democrats.
what's the
No,
I don't
harm,
fucking
Zeus?
care who they're
No,
attacking.
What's the harm?
No
What
one-
is the
no
harm
one
to these
said
people?
It was
The
bad for Biden
Republicans
doing
are
it
just
either.
saying that, no, Zeus, the Republicans are saying to the federal government, we are not a party to this. We did not agree to this. Texas's border is being assaulted every day by thousands and thousands of illegal immigrants.
Tens of thousands.
Texas can do very little about it. Their
Why
hands
wasn't
are
the-
Even
tied.
asking for
Why
help,
wasn't the
even
federal
asking-
government sending these people to
Apparently, they can
sanctuary
bus and
cities?
fly them wherever they want, so
But
they
why-
can do stuff. They can do
Why
stuff.
wasn't the federal
For
government
help.
sending these people to sanctuary cities that said they wanted them? Why weren't they sending them there?
You know
Because
why,
they've
Mike?
already
They're
got the
already-
vote there. They've
Right,
already
no,
got
Mike.
the power. That's
I
why.
agree with that.
Yeah,
I
no,
just don't
those
like
places are already blue.
They're already blue. That's why they're not sending them there.
I don't give a fuck. You're not following me, Mike.
We
I
got
don't
you.
give
Zeus.
a
I do
fuck.
got you. I just think
I
anyone that
don't-
got
We got
sent
your
to
point.
Here's my thing. both sides. I don't
Okay.
like people.
We got that.
So
innocent
We got it.
people
Zeus, take the
being
pawn,
used-
take the media out. Media doesn't even exist. Would it be wrong then?
Yeah.
But they're not being used as pawns.
So what's
Are
been
they
wrong
not
the last
allowed
year
to
and a
leave
half?
El
They
Paso?
wouldn't do-
They
they
are
wouldn't
allowed to
do it
leave
if
El
the media
Paso
wasn't there.
or wherever they're at.
Why can't they move about the country?
They
Zeus?
can.
I think there's got to be a better fucking way.
Well, where's everyone
Well,
been the
but
last
they're
year and a
away
half?
from-
What do you
somebody-
want them to do? Ride horses? I mean, why can't
Sit,
they
sit
No,
fly
around
us
on their
in?
ass for
Happened, they
150
got
days
accused of
until
beating them with whips.
their work permit. I don't know.
We shouldn't even be having this conversation.
Honestly, I've said
This
it
is a
before,
this is a Biden administration created problem.
I don't think it's just the
but we
Biden.
have to have this conversation because that's what the show's about.
I don't think that it's just the Biden administration. I think there is a big uptick in just governments being corrupt and doing
I've said
weird
it
things to their
before.
populations, and so there's that mixed with things that the Biden administration is doing. But
When did we vote to have all 5 million more people come into our country? Do you guys remember voting for that? Oh, we are a republic, right? We're supposed to be free
Yeah,
people.
you know what though? When were we
consent of the
actually
governed and all that stuff?
flown to other cities? Or
Wait, hey, Mike, doesn't this go back to JFK to some extent?
Well, after, do you mean in what regard? As far as like,
No, as far as I wish I knew the name of it, but the Immigration Act that basically said that we would have a looser policy as far as
it was
people
more, I
coming
think it was after Kennedy, but yeah, where basically in this country, our immigration system used to be where we would dictate, okay, this year as a country, we're going to let 100,000 people in, and we need to have 20% of them be PhDs. We need to have 50% of them be skilled trades. We need, we need some teachers. So we're going to have like 15% of them be whatever. We dictated what it was. And then people who were applying to immigrate into the country, we would ferret it out and grant them, visas, and they would become citizens and things like that. Because the point of immigration, if for any country, is to strengthen the country that is allowing people to come in. That's the whole point. But
I've
that's
said
not
this
what we
before.
have right now.
But that's not what's doing.
That got thrown overboard. Now we have people coming in that can't even support themselves, that are bringing in family members that can't support themselves, that are being supported by a system here in the United States that's already overtaxed because we have a party in charge that doesn't give a flying fuck about us. They're interested in their own power. And they see this as a way to gain more power. That's what we're dealing with. No one voted for this.
Here's my question to you, Mike. You live in a very dim city, right?
Very.
What if 1,000 migrants were just dumped right into your town?
Yeah, it's happened, dude. I don't know about 1,000, but it happens here all the time.
Yes, huge bolus, huge infusion of migrants dropped into your town.
It's
That happens to
happened.
me.
It's happened, dude. There's entire neighborhoods where I grew up that are completely different now. Where I live right now is totally different than what it was 20 years ago. And I don't have a problem with it. I mean, whatever. It's like,
There were
I'm not
multiple
xenophobic.
loads of Afghans that landed here in my county at Dulles Airport. They just plane load after plane load of Afghans, like 100,000 of them, just landing here in Loudoun County.
So
Do you guys understand the reason why all these people?
Wait, Desiree, what's that?
I'm sorry.
Do you guys understand the reason that all these people are able to come in, right?
able or want to?
Able.
Oh, I don't know. Why are they? How are they able?
Asylum
Because they
thing.
can claim asylum. Mm-hmm.
I think that's all bullshit. The
Well,
asylum.
I also do too, but I mean, because how that process, I mean, and I'm sure Jack probably knows maybe a little bit about this than I do, but I'm pretty sure that how this works is you get here and you claim asylum, and then you have to have like a little interview that says they can verify whether you're actually have a valid claim, and then like years later you have a hearing about it
Mm-hmm.
to
They don't
actually
show
get
up.
granted the asylum.
Right.
People don't show. Actually, most people do show up to those hearings if
If
they
have a
remember, or
legit-
if they can get a hold of them to tell them when their freaking hearing
But they're
is.
giving them like
or, you
free
know.
cell phones now.
But I
So-
mean,
Not
but
just
in the
that.
meantime, you have, let's just say 5 years between, you getting in and your asylum hearing. What are you going to do in those 5 years? Because you're not eligible for any benefits. You're not eligible for any assistance, which I mean, to be honest, I kind of think it's a bullshit loophole, but whatever, we could talk about that in a second. The only thing that you can do is wait 150 or 180 days for a like work permit.
I'd like
So,
to. Yeah.
Here's my,
Well-
I've said this, I'm sorry, Mike, I don't mean to interrupt.
No,
So it's
no, no.
more people that can't support themselves. These people actually
So,
cannot.
I've said this before, and there's a great comedy bit on it, but I'm just gonna use the first half of it because the first half makes sense. And that is, those that are able should be able to join the military. It should be, if you want to be in this country, you can
I
join the
think there are
military.
some already
Yeah,
But I
it's
mean-
already been
I mean,
happening,
that are not citizens yet, but they're
which
in the
is
military.
crazy. They
I
should
think,
be.
no, I don't know that it is.
They did- they
you're-
are.
No, I'm saying you're right. I don't think it's crazy is what I'm saying. I think there is I think it makes a lot of sense. We don't have a draft. We have people that want to be here. Prove that you want to be here. I'm fine with setting up some kind of standards for being an American citizen. Hold on, let me finish.
We have that. It's called our immigration system, which the Biden administration is totally fucking taking a huge
Yes,
dump
but
on.
what I'm saying is I think it's a relatively good solution to the problem. It bolsters our military. It
I don't
provides
know,
them with
man.
jobs.
You're worried
Hold on,
about sending
hold on,
people to
hold on,
Martha's
hold on,
Vineyard, and
hold
now
on.
you want to
I'm
be
not done with what I'm
conscripts
saying.
into the military? Like,
I'm not done with
going
what
to
I'm saying.
Martha's Vineyard is horrible, but here, grab a rifle and go
I'm
to
not saying
Europe.
for it. I'm not
That's-
saying
Now
that's
they're
for it.
not pawns
humanitarian.
anymore. Now they're like knights and bishops. They're in the middle.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
they're
saying
not-
offer it as an option. I'm saying offer it as an option. You gain skills. You show your loyalty. Hey, everybody that
But
comes to the
Zeus,
United States, hold on.
But
Everybody
no.
that gets naturalized shows their loyalty by pledging allegiance to the United States.
I'm going to
So-
stop you before you even finish. That is all available to people who are refugees, not asylum seekers. There's a difference.
There's a difference.
Maybe we expand
There's a difference.
There's already law. This has already been
Yes, I
figured
know.
out,
I'm
guys.
saying, yeah,
There's
they should
already
maybe
laws
not.
for this.
Yeah, and also Zeus. I mean, it sounds like you're basically talking about a draft for people that come over here desperate from other countries.
No. It's an option. We could also. There's lots of jobs that nobody else wants.
Are we? How many
Yeah.
people's too many, Zeus? How many people? Like, how big is our heart? Do we let 100
That's not
million
my
people in?
argument. I'm saying.
Well,
I'm saying.
what I'm saying is there a limit?
What I'm saying is life is a hell of a lot better if you have a couple options rather than just being pushed around wherever other people that have more power want you. What I'm
Nobody-
And
saying,
having to
nobody
send your
pushes
Nobody
kid-
you to
push
Martha's
them
Vineyard.
into the country, Zeus.
Yeah. Why is
Yeah,
why
what
is
do you
my
think-
kid got
you think they're
36
leaving
people in the
because
classroom?
things are sunny where they're at, or do you think they're
I'm
leaving?
saying they were not pushed here.
Shitstorm.
Yeah. So why do we
No, I'm
want to make
saying they
this
weren't
a
pushed to Martha's
shitstorm?
Vineyard. They got on that plane. They signed a waiver and they were given information. Yes, they were told they were going to Boston. Martha's Vineyard. I mean,
Where,
if
where's
you-
Boston?
map of
Where's
Martha's
Boston,
Vineyard.
Desiree?
2 hours away.
Where's what state?
It's in
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
I love it.
But it
Can
was
you
only
say
like
Connecticut?
that's like saying to me,
Connecticut.
okay, so for example, I'm born in Martinez, California. Has anyone ever heard of that?
Martinez?
No.
Yes.
No.
Say
Okay.
that
Do you
I
know where
have.
Oakland is? Do you know where Oakland,
Yes.
California is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when people ask me where I'm from, I say Oakland, California because
Yeah, because they know where
that's
it
what
is.
people that
Like I say
So if you were to
DC.
tell somebody exactly, you don't say whatever. I don't even know what city
Butt
is
fuck,
around DC,
Virginia.
but
Yeah.
But
Bumblefuck,
Virginia.
Maryland. Yeah.
but like if you were to
Onacok,
say,
Virginia.
yeah, we're
Onacok.
gonna take you. You're gonna
Onacok.
On a cock.
Go ahead, Desiree.
Where's
Onacok.
Onacok?
This is it.
Has
The
anybody
house
been
in
to
Onacok.
Onacok?
Wait, let
The
Desiree
house in
finish.
Onacok is cute. So yes, they did tell the people that they were going to go to Boston. First of all, that makes sense to me because no one really, if you don't really know, you know big cities in America, Boston, Chicago, New York, things like that.
That's in Massachusetts.
Probably not
right?
Massachusetts. Probably not Martha's Vineyard. So I mean, it's a reference. They were given a map of Martha's Vineyard, so it's not like it was a complete secret that they dumped them off in like the Guam. They didn't take them like somewhere else that's like really bad and dumped
Like
him
New
there.
Bedford.
No, they actually probably
but-
took him to a place better than Boston.
Yeah, they took them to a better place where they said, no, you're less than.
Look,
Yeah, which
this
they
is
shouldn't have.
this is like if you have a car and someone steals your car and then they get pissed off at you because you didn't leave any gas in it. These people came into the country illegally, man. Like they're not even supposed to be here. And now
They
I'm
weren't
like,
e- they
oh,
weren't
is your
even
seat
mad.
cushion on oh, do you want to go to Martha's Vineyard or exactly what zip code would you like to go to? Because we're here to help. I mean,
If you ask the
dude,
people,
this is
they're
so
not even mad. They're
not
like,
the-
actually, it was the best. That was
this
great.
is so
Thank you.
not the
Thanks,
point.
America.
This is the conversation the media wants everyone to be having. This is so ridiculous, man. I mean, seriously? I mean, this has been going on. It's been going on for 500,000 people for 18 months, and all the alphabet media has not said a word about it. And now 50 people is a humanitarian crisis. It just begs.
You know what? We should give them jobs in the media. Because fuck the media.
They'd be better. But how is it evil to send somebody to Martha's Vineyard?
How is that evil,
I'm not
dude?
saying that.
They are
Kind of.
saying
Listen,
No,
you're
wait,
splitting hairs with
you
what
gotta-
I'm saying. Jack gets what I'm saying.
No, it's okay to call a spade a spade. It's impossible to say that this wasn't a political hype move by DeSantis.
I
He
fucking
knew,
hate that.
right, he knew what he was doing.
But
Okay, he did it
You know
for
what?
he
Was
did
there
it.
harm?
No, he did it. No, there's no harm. He did it for a reason. It scored some national pub for him. I'm supposedly Trump's pissed now because he's being trumped by DeSantis. I mean, we know why. You know why he did it. He's sending him to Kamala's house. Next, it's going to be Biden's hometown. Like he's scoring political
that's
points.
next on the schedule.
Right, he's scoring political points with his base, and he's raising his Q level or his Q rating. I mean, so that's a fact. If Zeus has an issue with that, fine. But then you also just have to have an issue with politics and media in general.
Dude, I think
And
it's
the
brilliant.
bottom line is, DeSantis did not sign on for this new federal policy. Why
Yeah.
should he be burdened with these illegal immigrants that are being dropped off in Florida when he wants no part of it? Because
Well, hold on, Jack. So the plane actually left from San Antonio. It wasn't even in.
But they have
What
been
they
having
did was
these.
they identified people in San Antonio that I guess were supposed to go to Florida. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
And
the
they-
point that what DeSantis is doing, the brilliant part
DeSantis
of
went
it,
to help.
right? But if he's shipping 50 and they call that a humanitarian crisis, or 80 go to DC and that's an emergency, and 100 go to Chicago and that's too much for them, then they should get the point that 4 million,
Yeah,
in
is a little
Texas,
much.
maybe that's a crisis too.
Instead of
but they don't-
ignoring it.
That's
And
not
having-
a crisis.
listen,
I'm not arguing that.
the
And then
vice
calling
pre-
it a crisis is a crock of shit.
Dude,
Yeah, and
2
the-
weeks ago, the vice president of the United States on National Democrat Party media
Not my
said that the
vice president.
southern border was secure. This is what she said. She's the vice president of the United States. That's what
It's
she's
just
trying to
flat
put
out
out there.
lie.
Secure. It is
It's-
secure. It's just open to everyone who wants to claim asylum.
Right, and
And-
I love the fact that the lady in DC, not the mayor, but the head of social services or whatever, Mike, you probably saw this press conference. She basically said what Governor Abbott is doing in Texas is turning Washington DC into a border town.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I wanted to be like, fuck yeah, he is. How do you like it?
absolutely.
How
Yeah,
do you like it? Because all those little towns and cities that Desiree rattled off in Texas have been living this nightmare
for a year and a half.
for decades.
Businesses
Probably
being
longer than
closed.
that.
Look, people losing their businesses, people having their homes broken into weekly, right? Cars being stolen,
School crowding.
livestock being slaughtered,
What about
trash
hospitals?
being left, things being burned down. I mean, and
Yeah,
listen,
I mean,
man,
hospital's already in dire state as it is. So
we when we have talked about this topic before, and I just need to say it because I need to be very clear, right? I 100,000,000% feel for these people. If I was like, Michael Sanchez living in wherever, Guatemala, and I had my daughter and my wife, and I had to deal with the bullshit going on in Guatemala, and I knew that if I could somehow get to the border,
you gotta
that I could
believe.
make a better life, I'd be the first one, man. I'd be like right with these guys. I totally get that, but that's not what we're talking
But why
about.
America.
We're talking
Like,
about
you gotta
the
believe.
manipulation by people and the powers in our country that are fucking with us. That's the issue. I don't have an issue with the people. What they're doing makes total sense. It makes total sense. I get it. But there's a way to do it that's orderly, and there's a way to do it that's like this. And this
I
sucks.
personally think is more chaos.
Also,
The other
It
part
is.
about it is they
Wait.
don't have it's taking so long to process all these claims. It's like because there's so many people. It's like they have to have resources. They have to have more border patrol. They have to have more officers to process the claims. They have to have and they don't have that. So what's happening in the meantime? People are literally dying under bridges because it's so fucking hot in Texas.
Thousands of people are dying. Thousands.
Dehydration, heat strokes, whatever.
what about-
murder?
what
I'm
about-
sure fentanyl. I don't know.
What about the 50 people that cooked in a truck or whatever?
Yeah.
That wasn't a crisis. That was a month ago.
That's not a new thing, though.
That didn't even make the news. 51 people. That was a new thing, Zeus. That never happened before. They cooked.
How many movies have we watched through the 80s where the group of people dies in the
The
back
media
of the truck because they were
yawned.
transported?
The media yawned when that
It's
happened.
really-
The same people that are saying
That's
that
not
the
a
50
surprise, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It's
Okay.
not.
It's kind of a shell game
no.
with the media
50
because
people-
well, I was just going to say what they're doing. They're focusing on the busing and the planes from just Florida, just a handful. And meanwhile, there's been like 900 flights organized by the Biden administration itself, where they're purposely loading up airplanes in the middle of the night without telling anybody what's going on and flying the migrants all
Yep.
over the country. And then they look, if one bus arrives in DC, it's a
Yeah.
crisis. They're all
Yeah.
up in arms.
They're flying them to detention centers or holding
Right.
centers.
Well, but
Yeah,
still,
let-
why aren't they telling anybody? I mean, nobody knows where they're going or
To
who's
protect the
going where.
privacy of the individuals and the children.
And they're,
You guys,
That's BS.
everybody here knows me. You know that I'm not a fucking dope. I get what you're saying. I do think it's brilliant. Politically, it's a fucking mad respect for the thoughts that go behind it.
It's
But
sad.
to call it altruistic or
It's not.
charitable, no, it's fucking using people, and that's the only thing I have a problem with. I
But
don't
it's
like
using
it.
people, but you take
It's not. I
just
don't
not
see-
Martha's Vineyard. Go to Portland. Go to Annapolis. Go to
Okay, let me ask
Nashville.
Des,
Go to
Let her
any of
finish.
those places.
Let her
do you
Kansas
think
City.
it has more impact? Do you think it has more impact for them to drop them in a city that is not loaded with rich Democrats, or do you think that they're all being dropped conveniently in cities that are loaded with rich Democrats?
Well, how about Chicago? Why aren't these flights that Tom talked about going to blue areas, Zeus? It's because they're trying to game the system. It is a raw power grab. That's the whole point. They
But
don't give a
who's using
shit
whose?
about the people. They
How
don't give
do
a
you-
shit about
I
these
think
people.
both sides are using them.
No, they're
Yes.
not. No,
If I'm a
that's not.
migrant and I want to get to Boston and then I hear that there's a free bus ride all the way up to Martha's Vineyard,
Can I go,
am I
please?
going to walk to Boston
Yeah.
or am I going to take this free bus? I'm going to take advantage of what's there. I mean, who's using who? They're trying to move around the country. They're trying to get someplace. There's nothing going on in El Paso. There's
Yeah,
4
you wanna
million
make
people
them
huddled
stay in
under
El Paso?
bridges.
Or
If
yeah,
these
in El
were-
Paso
if
where it's
the- if
crowded
this
and
was
there's
being
nothing
done
there for
out
you.
of compassion and altruistic means, I'd be much more about it. It's not. You're not going to convince me.
It kind of is. I mean, it is and it isn't. Listen, listen.
This is not for the benefit.
No,
of
no,
those
no.
people.
Listen. I mean,
So would you
there is
rather
that
stay in El
part of
Paso?
it. There is that part of it, but at the same time,
Don't know.
they're
I wanna
not.
go to El
There's
Paso.
not a bright
dismiss
future.
it, but
Listen
at
to
the
me.
same
Listen
Zeus.
to me, Zeus. There's not an entirely bright future there under the bridge in El Paso. Is it not altruistic to take them and move them to Chicago or Boston or DC?
Sure,
Some
Mr.
of them, at least.
Okay, no,
They
it
can't
is
all
not
4 million
altruistic
stay.
if you do the thing. It is altruistic if you're
It's
in.
both.
behind
I'm
it
saying it's both.
to help
They're
others.
doing it
Yeah, it
political
can-
for political purpose, but at the same time, it does help them.
Do you
Would it
really
change-
believe that, Tom?
And the bottom, Zeus, and also like Mike was
Don't
saying,
think they're better off.
bottom line is Biden's been doing this into like red counties for fucking 2 years or 18 months or whatever it's
And
been.
he's a piece of shit too.
Right, but no, the media doesn't call him that. And then
Yeah.
meanwhile, DeSantis, they're comparing to Adolf Hitler now because Hitler had
This
a
is the Holocaust.
relocation program.
Listen,
too.
With 50 people.
as much as
Yeah, 50
I've
people in
said
the
it
vineyard.
before, I'm a Democrat, but I like DeSantis, and I do think it's brilliant. I just don't like the means.
Zeus, what would it change your opinion
Is
if
this the Friends of Zeus anymore?
yeah, no, would it change your opinion if these people knew they were going to Martha's Vineyard? Like if they were like, if there's a piece of paper and like, yeah, I'm going to Martha's Vineyard, and I know what I'm doing, and I want to go. Would that change your opinion?
They did get told they're going. Well, they got told they're going to Boston, but also
No,
going to
what would
Martha's
change
Vineyard.
my opinion if there were altruistic means, if they were doing this for some form of kindness. It's not out of kindness. It's all, I know, I've seen these pictures. We had these pictures.
But what do you
like,
mean, kindness? I mean, in all due respect, Zeus, fuck kindness. We're not talking about kindness. We're talking about bare knuckle power.
Shitload more of it.
Dude, if anything is kind, like if shipping these 50 people to Martha's Vineyard shines a light on the humanitarian disaster that this administration is causing, with thousands of people dying on our border, if it shines a light on that and it makes it less likely to happen, that is compassion.
They're not listening when they ask for help. This is Haitian.
I've got a Jordan jersey on right here.
Crossing the Rio Grande. People drown in the Rio Grande every day from crossing. Apparently, the Rio Grande's not that like wide, but apparently it's real currenty.
Oh, it is altruistic in that sense.
This is kind of a sad picture. You want to know what this is? Okay, you see these wristbands?
Yeah.
These wristbands are given out to individuals by the cartels, and what they're used for is to indicate how much money that person owes the cartel.
Jeez. And then they have to pay that off before they're released.
So then go back up to that truck picture, that flatbed truck, because they're using that, like they need to get it. They're not going to walk from Venezuela. That's just an example. They're going to walk all the way up here. So they need to use, caravans like this. So, maybe the truck rides a white wristband. Maybe the move from Mexico City to Tijuana is a green wristband.
Can I also
it's just
it's horrible.
And now, why are they coming? Why are they coming? Because somehow they think that America is the greatest place on earth, which, to be honest, I don't really think it is. But like I said, why are these people from Guatemala coming? They go to Belize. Belize is literally right across, just not that far. And Belize is fine. Belize.
Well, wait. And
so let me ask you guys this.
They take them every day.
Wait a minute. Wasn't it like international policy for asylum seekers, where basically if you wanted to get out of your country and immigrate or emigrate, be taken in by another country, it had to be an adjacent bordering country, and it had to be because of political violence and persecution that you were facing for political or religious reasons.
As a refugee.
Why the fuck?
Or torture.
Why the fuck are we getting people from all over the world and just opening the door, and saying, oh, in 90 days to a year, you can have your hearing to establish, where are you from? Venezuela? Okay, come on in.
There is a lot of turmoil in Venezuela.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Like if Mexico was, if the violence from the cartel exploded all over Mexico and people were like, we're being killed just for being people, we need to come in now. Like, please let us in. It's a bordering country. It's the bordering country. We might have to look at that, right? But you got people coming from, if you're in Venezuela and it sucks and America is great, is that any reason that we have to say, okay, the border's open, come on in, let's help you? Do we do that for the whole world?
You had to cross a whole other.
Sam Jackson, allow me to retort.
No, I mean, honestly, we're just an open door for the whole world without any kind of.
You went to a whole other continent to get asylum.
Yeah.
That's
to answer what you're saying, Jack, one could argue that the cartel and all that, although it's not officiated as a form of government, it certainly has a great deal of power from where they're coming from. But hold on. So what I'm saying is,
Zeus, I gave you that caveat. If we were talking about Mexico being under the rule of a violent cartel
or South America, they're not all coming from Mexico.
That's my point. Yeah. They're not. They're coming from these other countries just because those countries are poor.
Listen, there's people from Ukraine that are coming across the southern border. They got people from Russia, people from China.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be so great, according to a lot of the liberals. But people are fleeing China and coming across the southern border.
And here's the thing that you got to hold in your head. We're told that we have to hold in our head at the same time by this whatever media that we have, is that while this is all going on, the United States is not exceptional, and it is filled with white supremacists who
Behind every
are
tree.
racists and blah, 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 blah. And yet we have all of these BIPOC folks. I hate that term. I'm just
What's
using
BIPOC? I've never heard it.
it. So basically, it's Black, Indigenous, and people of
People
color.
of color, right?
Yeah. So, but my point
Let's
is,
keep separating ourselves.
exactly. But so we're
Fucking
supposed to believe
separated.
at the same time, we're supposed to see with our lion eyes what's happening at the border, and the United States is the worst, most racist, white supremacist, anti-democratic country on the face of the earth. I mean, here's the thing, man. The Democrat Party and people that support people in the Democrat Party, they don't like the United States. That's the dirty secret. And people need to start waking up to that, because that's what we're talking about. And the fact is, the people that are coming here to the United States, like I said, I understand it. I would too. People have always been coming to this country because we fucking rock, dude. Because if you fucking put some work into it, you can make something yourself. Nothing's guaranteed, but it's the best in the world. Name another country that's better. Oh, people are like, oh, France is better. Fuck that, dude. France
I
isn't
don't know.
better.
I could do some time in Jamaica.
I'm just saying, I can't. This whole thing that we're supposed to choke down, that there's a racist hiding behind every tree, and then people are doing everything they can, literally dying to get in here.
But why are they doing that if we're so racist?
That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to say.
But
Because
we're the
it's
ones
bullshit.
saying it. Our own country is the one saying it.
No, the party is the one saying it.
Yeah, just
You know
one
that I
party
saw-
is saying it.
This is how insane we're getting. This is a slight tangent. Stop me when I go too far. There is now a flag for what's called MAPS, which is minor attracted people, essentially pedophiles. And in the little things that I've heard, they're now being called, we used to call it NAMBLA and we wanted to blow up the building. Now they're called a marginalized group.
Mm-hmm.
We're going fucking insane.
It's the changing of language, Zeus. They are attacking the language.
Tell me about changing language. I've been saying this from the
I
beginning.
know. What I'm saying
Fucking
is,
ludicrous.
people have no idea what is going on right now. I mean, and
How
again,
can-
I've evolved on this topic. We are in the middle right now of a cultural war. We're right in the middle of it. It's not
Worse than that, I
it's
think
not
we've
going to
become
happen. We're in the middle of it right now. It is occurring at
I
this
think
moment.
we've become Rome, and I think pretty soon we're going to be seeing people beat with stone tablets. I don't.
I just reject the violence part of it. I don't know, man.
Remember what I said? I said this several episodes back, but if things are going to change, and this is not what I want, but it's the way things change. We need a Tiananmen Square guy in front of the tank where there's going to be a line of bodies that are going to have to die.
Or we can vote.
Yeah, people don't want to get out and do that. You know what I'm saying, though? There's going to have to be
It's a little easier than storming the nest, dude.
something drastic and revolutionary. I'm not inciting it. I don't want it, but it seems to me that the only way things are going to change at this point is something horrifically
How well organized
devastating
militia.
to our psyche that's going to wake us up to what's going on.
The federal
Not us,
We're going
not
to talk
this
about
group.
the machine gun nest again. in a
Yeah,
second.
don't talk about. Look, listen,
No,
guys.
I'm saying I don't want that. I'm saying that that's a likely outcome if things are going to change.
I don't think so.
What do you
Listen.
think? What do you think is going to change the path that we're going down?
I'm not sure if I mean, I don't even know if the path can be diverted, but I'd like to
That's
think
what I was saying.
I'd like to think the election in November is going to help sort of balance the power out a little. I'd like to think that. I think that the Republicans have a strong shot at taking over, the House and the Senate this year. Although I think Leslie Graham is doing everything he can to screw that up.
And McConnell.
I
Look,
never thought I'd say
McConnell,
this,
and
but I
then-
hope
and
you're
then-
fucking
and
right.
then- And then obviously if real voting laws and restrictions are kept in place for this election and the one in 2024, then there's still a chance to shift the power and maybe undo some of this stuff. I mean, again, look at the 3 years under Trump. We didn't have this colossal immigration crisis because there was a different path or policy that he put into place, and it's just been destroyed at this point. And that's just one issue. I mean, remember the Biden red speech? We talked about that already. There's an attitude change that needs to happen.
It's
But I'd
fucking
like to-
semi-fascist. I hate it. I don't like anything that's going on right now.
No, but I mean, but again, I think there's still a shot. I mean, Americans, as long as we still have the right to vote, I think there's a shot for us to sort of shift things in a more positive direction. I mean, if I didn't believe that, I don't know what I would do. I'd like to think that we're not waving the white flag quite yet at this point.
No,
you know?
there's still a lot to go. I mean, the thing is,
What scares me? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, I'm just saying if the Republicans, and I'm no special pleader for Republicans, but I'm saying if the Republicans are able to gain control of the House, there need to be investigations. There need to be people going to fucking jail. Like, there's been so many shenanigans going on right
We
now.
don't need to take a page out of the freaking Democrat playbook. We don't need to do that.
Yeah,
Just
I
move
agree.
forward.
No, but what I'm saying is there need to be consequences. And right now we have a federal government that is completely out of control. Right now, and I mean, I know this is like live on Rumble or whatever, but
Right back.
if I got a call from the FBI or like some FBI agent want to talk to me, fuck that dude, man. Like, I'm getting a lawyer.
Fuck
I'm
that
not
guy.
fucking talking to FBI. DOJ called. Fuck the DOJ. I don't trust any of these people, man. I don't. And that is, again, we've talked about this in an earlier episode. That's the cancer. The cancer with the Democrat Party playing fast and loose with this federal power that they have is it makes ordinary citizens like this guy look at these institutions that only really have power if everyone believes in them. And I don't believe them I don't believe in them anymore. I don't trust the FBI at all. Like, because I have actual evidence
Well, the
where they've
FBI,
been
the
like fucking
police,
everything
shouldn't
up.
trust the police.
Yeah, but if you don't believe in them, at the very least, you have a reason to fear them. I mean, you had these
Fear,
January,
yeah.
yeah, because you had people that just walked in as police held the doors open. That
There's
got put
people
in
still in jail, man.
that got
Yeah.
put in solitary confinement without proper hearings or representation for fucking ever. I mean,
Dude,
we're still.
Yeah,
We're
I mean,
still
I've talked about consent of the governed and all that. They don't have my consent. I mean, and I'm not like one of these people that are like, what are those people that are like, I'm not part of the country. I am part of the country, but I don't trust these institutions. The FBI
Hashtag
isn't in the
not my
fucking
country.
Constitution. Department of Justice isn't in the fucking Constitution. I don't need to
Talk
abide by
about the midterms. Imagine what I was thinking, and probably what will eventually happen. Imagine if the Democrats had enough control. I guess they would need to get to 60 in the Senate, and then they can pretty much pass whatever bill they want. But if they had that right now, don't you think there would be amnesty immediately?
immediately.
Pretty much anybody crossing the border would get automatic citizenship, I think. And that would just go on and on. That would be
Look at what's
the
been going
future,
on
basically.
in this Congress, like with these laws that have been passed since, I mean, not just since Biden, but even before. Our representatives are there to represent us. They're not even getting to see these laws more than like 24 hours before the vote's being called. We're not being, there is no vetting,
That
there
should
is
be
no
illegal.
discussion. And I'm old enough to remember back in the 80s, I used to love Meet the Press, man. I used to
Yeah.
watch these Sunday morning shows. I used to watch 60 Minutes religiously. Now, because at the time there would be like some law that came or some bill, and it was like going to get voted on in 4 weeks, and it would get published, and people would talk about it, and like Crossfire would talk about it, and it would be people would talk about it around the water cooler. I'd hear my parents. It'd be news
And they'd like
articles.
edit the bill. They'd like make little
Big
changes.
and then it would get voted on. Now it's like Pelosi and these people, they just like they release it 10 hours ahead of time. No one gets to look at it. And even the people voting on it are voting by proxy. They've got one Democrat rep voting for 20 Democrat reps. There aren't even in,
They
they're
give
not
it a
even in
misnomer.
DC.
It's a misnomer of a name. You don't even know
It's
what
a
it is.
misnomer of a name, and they're just passing. Look, we are a representative republic, man. That they have completely just fucked it all up for years now. And it's like people need to wake up to this stuff because we are not we are this close to losing this country. I firmly believe that. I'm positive, I'm optimistic, but I've never, not only have I never seen it this dire, I can't think of a time, unless you go back to like Civil War era, where things have been as bad as they are right now. And I'm not saying we're in a civil war, but I'm saying you've got almost half the people in this country that don't like the country, that hate America. They hate Americanism. They don't agree with liberty. Look, the Marxist ideal is that true freedom of the individual cannot be achieved unless freedom of the group is achieved, right? Which is utopianism. You can't have that. Everything is not going to be great for everybody. The principles that America was founded on is the freedom of the individual, that the individual has God-given freedom, that the government has the restrictions on it to restrict what they can do to the individual. That's all been turned on its head right now. We have an entire 2 generations, probably 3 generations, that have not been taught any of this. It is a huge problem. It's a huge problem.
You know what I find disheartening?
And then what are they being taught? Which is, America sucks. Look at all the horrible things we've done.
Yep, exactly.
I think you guys are okay. So you guys, Desiree, you don't know my son Ollie, but he's a really bright kid.
He's
awesome. He's awesome. Both my kids are awesome, but so he says some brilliant things, like the wife she was touting about how communism, but like she's all for it because her mother worked for the KGB. Like she's all about, she's the last communist, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty funny. And,
nice.
It's funny.
No, she's a cool lady. And she just like,
you can't, but some,
well, no, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
For the KGB.
Here's the thing. My mother-in-law says it to stir things up.
Right.
But her daughter, who idolizes her mom, takes it as gospel. So she's talking about it, and Ollie basically brings up what you were just saying, and what I added to it was that he goes to the wife. He's like, well, so with communism, everybody's going to be treated. He's generalizing, but everybody's going to be equal, right? But somebody's got to be, like, he nails it with what I would say, but somebody's got to make sure that's happening. So don't they have more power? Shut her up right there. He says that, but then I'll talk about principles of things that these should be inherent just in society. It should be being, just through osmosis, like, about the principles of, the United States and all this. And then those things, he's like, meh. And that's what I'm worried about. And I'm going to keep trying to instill, good, rational thought, think of others first, blah, blah, blah. But man, the kids today, they're just kids. When we were kids, the amount of input that the amount that we took from the world about how to deal with these deep concepts was far less. It was hearing our parents bitch about it at the table. But now they're being inundated with it. For instance, and I called Mike and left a message today, something that it really, really upset me. And it's because we care about the kids. I go to school to pick up the little one, Max, the trailer dumper. And he's brought out by 2 little girls. And I'm like, oh, who are they? What were their names? So it was one little girl. And the other one is she, her. And it just, like, for all that we talked about on the shows, to see it right there and in my face, and this indoctrination, like, blew my fucking mind. I nearly wept. I called Mike immediately. I was like, I'm infuriated. And it's because these kids just need to live a life, go out into the woods. Hopefully you come back. I mean, I don't want the kids to die, but we went out into the woods and we came back. You know what I mean? We found the fort in the woods.
he ate berries and honeysuckles for lunch.
We found the dangerous rope swing that was, when you got to the other side, you were going to land on a pile of glass, but we survived.
Dude,
And they're
I'd
not
say
doing
that
it.
little she/her is a pawn as well.
Yes. It's
Yeah, wait, was the girl a she, her, or he, him? I'm confused.
it was a boy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Max said that he was his best friend. And I'm like, that's fucking, and Max called him he, but he explained that he goes by she, her. And it was clear that this child was
Trained.
no, this kid, it was a little boy that had earrings and an effeminate haircut and
Wait, this was-
That sounds like
Wait,
metrosexual.
wait, and this was Max's buddy?
yeah.
How old
I'm
is
not going to
Max?
discourage that. Max
No,
is,
how old is
Max
how
is
old?
6.
Okay, how old is Max?
6.
6. Okay, so again, we're talking about not only school, but we're talking about parents.
It's
That's a different issue. That's a
We're in a
generational
fighting
thing.
That's why I say they're trained.
Y'all
Yeah.
can
Can-
move to Kansas because that shit ain't happening here. So,
Can I
Yeah.
share something that happened this weekend? So on Saturday, we're
it
like trying to
happens
think.
everybody, Mike. Don't worry about it.
We're trying to think of something to do, and there's this like really nice botanical garden near us, and they have events throughout the year, and they were having this Children's Day where you would go and they had these events where they would take kids out in the garden and like the kids would like do stuff or whatever. So I was like, that would be great. It's fun. It's a county thing funded by the county and all that stuff. So it said you had to register. So I went online to register, and I'm going to read. This is on my phone. I actually took a picture of it from the website. So this is the description. And I didn't register. We didn't go, but this is what came up. Children's Day. Explore the art and science of gardening through child-driven art projects and engaging science activities. Groups will enjoy a story time with Drag Queen Story Hour and then rotate through 4 outdoor activity stations designed to educate and entertain. All participants, including adults, must register. And I just X'd out of that. I'm just like, what? I mean, again, what can someone explain where Drag Queen Story Hour fit
Botanical
into
gardens.
botanical garden? I'm saying this stuff is, I don't
I
know,
mean,
man. I mean, to
isn't
sit
really-
there
I-
and say,
I don't.
like, it's not me being oversensitive, okay?
No,
This stuff is getting
no,
forced. It is
that's-
getting forced. And I was like, I was so pissed off because I'm like, I love this garden. I've been there a million times. I thought it would be fun. I mean, seriously, I like Drag
Yeah.
Queen Story Hour at the Botanical Gardens. Like, who's saying that that's
What would that
necessary
look like exactly?
for grade school kids?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know what it would look
Yeah,
like, but I'll bet it would be fabulous.
I'm just saying when people say like, "Oh man, you're being like
Yes, queen.
you're overreacting," I'm like, "Am I overreacting?"
No, why do you have to combine sexual fetishism or
With
eroticism
gardening,
with little kids?
with little
Why do you
kids.
have to register?
I don't know.
Okay,
thought you
so
just-
and you know what? Honestly, I don't think this is really a
Oh,
tangent.
that was the point.
This is
Well,
what we're talking
No,
about.
this whole part of the conversation is a tangent off the main
let's-
subject. But I
so
think
let's go back to the main
I think our viewers would are interested in what's going on in the country, and
Yeah.
so why not?
I'm disheartened. I've never in my life, and I've got a lot of stuff going on, but this stuff, I can deal with my own private little microcosm, my little days of our lives bullshit. But this shit is like this, what's behind me, I mean, and we disagreed, and I love you guys. You guys know that. And we disagreed, and I got not angry, but heated. But we agree on like core principles. And right now, man, I've never been this disheartened. I go to work and my job, which I love, in the job, but the politics are fucking out of this world. For instance, I never take a vacation. I went and asked for a couple days off because it's being demanded of me. You guys know what I'm talking about.
I've gotten that email before.
And they're like, well, we can't, we can't do it. You have to switch. And I'm like, yes, but I told you I can't switch, and I never take vacation time. I'm saying, do me a solid because I'm always there for you. And it's like, we don't have to. That's like indicative of the political world we're in. We don't have to. You're the proletariat, or you're plebeians, proletariat. Which one was the? I always get
proletariat are
the
the
proletariat.
lower class. Yeah, bourgeois is the higher class.
right, and
Yeah,
and
you're
it's
not
just
bougie.
like, it's like, for fucking real, man. What happened to merit? We need to be back to a merit-based society. You do good shit, you get good shit, and we're
Oh,
not.
wait a second. I got a couple questions about this. So did you put the vacation request in?
No, this was short notice, but
Okay, well, then it doesn't work like that. That's called calling in.
no,
Uh-oh.
yes, you know,
Yeah,
when you-
somebody's calling you out.
I never, literally, I have like fucking 6 months of vacation.
So
I
you've
never-
got white
Yeah,
privilege.
but you gotta put the time
Yeah,
in.
yeah, check your
I
privilege.
never-
Yeah, check your
listen,
privilege, Zeus.
I never call in.
So call in. You got probably 20 call-ins available.
You know what I'm saying.
I keep track of my call-ins, dude.
I never,
One month,
I'm,
I'm
I,
like, I got
Take
3
the
call-ins.
listen, I asked for, I took 6 shifts, extra shifts, because that's what they needed. And I mean, I'm getting paid for it, don't get me wrong. But
Dude.
for fuck's sake, man. Why don't
No
you get
good
one of these
deed.
other people that doesn't do their fucking job to,
No good deed goes unpunished, man. That's the rule.
I'm done with good deeds. I'm gonna go start committing crimes.
But you gotta put the request in before the schedule starts.
It was brought upon me recently that you need to do this. Your kids want to be with you. But it was
Well,
fine.
they're
when
gonna
I
have to wait till the schedule's over.
Exactly. I agree.
Anyway. Good.
I don't even,
We're off
but
topic.
I was disheartened by the fact that my employers, the people that I work with, weren't.
I think
more.
that qualifies as a tangent.
Anyway, back to
But no, but
the
that's
last
thing
question.
about it too. It's
Back
like
to the last
you don't
question.
have to do what you
Yeah,
want.
yes, Zeus, stop for a second.
Yeah,
Back
let's
to the
go
last
ahead.
part of this. So Governor Newsom, which he can go ahead and sit the fuck down as far as I'm concerned, but
Wow.
he is
That would be California governor.
yeah.
Gruesome.
Do you see
Yeah.
the state of California right now and their shenanigans? Good.
Oh yeah. He wants to.
Anyway, Governor Newsom wants to like bring charges against Governor Abbott and well, maybe just
DeSantis.
mainly.
Dude, they
for,
want to
for
jail
the
anyone they
substance
disagree with.
Meanwhile,
Well-
if you drive down the street in LA, it's a tent city. It's in
Yeah.
the city of LA.
LA looks like freaking El Paso Bridge.
Yeah, it looks like that bridge that you showed earlier.
Did you know in San Francisco there's a bridge called Hobo Bridge?
Did you know in San Francisco they have an app where you can find out where all the poop is? That's how.
Yeah,
Yes.
they do. Mhm.
I know about that.
Yep.
Why do you need the?
Hobo Bridge is actually worse than this bridge, but same
This-
thing.
I just wanna say, this
Millionaires
guy's-
on that bridge.
This guy's wearing a Jordan jersey. Just want to say that.
I think this guy right here might be wearing one too.
I feel for
I
these
don't get the
people, man.
reference.
He's wearing
Michael
some
Jordan.
Fila.
I know, but like, why?
I don't know. It's amazing.
Probably got donated.
It's probably a ripoff Jordan jersey. It's,
I'm surprised we're not
the
seeing
price
any
is
like.
Joe Dan.
I'm surprised we're not seeing any like New England Patriots 19-0 shirts here.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
they're down there. I'm sure they're down there.
These are
All
all the
right.
people that are
Well,
took their
guys,
clothes off
guys,
in the regrand.
guys, I'm not quite sure, but it feels like we've been on for a while now.
It does. It really
I think
does.
we've been on for a while now. I think it's time to maybe wrap
Always say
things up.
that.
I know. Well, thanks to everybody out in Rumble Land. I hope you like this video.
Did you
Yeah.
get any comments? Did you get any comments, Tom?
Not yet.
Keep them coming.
Well,
Keep 'em
you know,
coming.
Hey,
Yeah, we didn't exactly promote this
phone
live
lines are
event.
open.
But hit Rumble,
First caller waiting.
subscribe, and come back and check us out again later.
Yeah,
And,
we'll
Rumble was like days.
Right after this podcast, we're all getting on a plane to Martha's Vineyard.
Yes.
They'll give us a nice place.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Probably
All
pretty
right.
cheap right now.
We meet their criteria.
Take care, guys.
Bye, guys.